Okay, now coming for ballast water exchange regulation D1 of the convention. There are three methods of ballast water exchange which has been evaluated and accepted by the IMO or organization. The three methods are: number one is sequential method, also called empty refill method. Number two, flow through method, and number three is dilution method. Please be reminded that these methods are being used at present as a contingency plan, but still, since it is to be used at any times, we'll have to be acquainted with this exchange method. So ballast water exchange in open water must be carried out at least 200 nautical miles from the nearest land, and in water of at least 200 meters of depth of water. I repeat again, at least 200 nautical miles from the nearest land and at least in water of 200 meters in depth of water. For any reason, if 200 nautical miles distance cannot be maintained, but in all cases at least 50 nautical miles from the nearest land, and of course in water at least 200 meter depth of water. And also, all local and national regulations should be taken into consideration, as may specify other depth and distance from the nearest land, like the USA. A ship will not be required to deviate from its intended buoys or delay the buoys in order to comply with the particular requirement as stated above. In addition, if the master decides reasonably that exchange would threaten the safety or stability of the ship, its crew and its passenger because of adverse weather, ship's design stresses equipment, then it is not required to comply with the above regulation. Now is coming for sequential method. The sequential method is a process by which a ballast tank intended for the carriage of ballast water is first emptied and then refilled with the replacement ballast water to achieve at least 95% volumetric exchange. The sequential method requires careful planning and monitoring by the ship staff in order to mitigate the risks of the ship, like the longitudinal strength, dynamic load, excessive trim, bottom forward slamming, propeller immersion, intake stability, and the breeze visibility. At the same time, ship staff should be taken account below points, like the ship's position in relation to the land, navigational hazards, traffic density, present weather condition and the forecast of the weather, machinery performance, and degree of crew fatigue before proceeding to the next pair of steps. We can see here, if any factor are considered unfavorable, the ballast exchange should be suspended. Now is coming the flow through. Second method is called flow through method. Flow through method is a process by which replacement ballast water pump into ballast tank intended for the carriage of ballast water, allowing water to flow through or overflow to achieve at least 95% volumetric exchange of ballast water. Pumping through 3 times of the volume of each ballast tank usually shall be considered to meet the standard described above. The flow-through method has the advantage that can be used in weather conditions which would be marginal for the use of first method, sequential method. However, the flow-through method introduces certain other risks, like the disadvantages are that all tanks are not designed with a head to the top of the overflow. Number 2, there is a danger of overpressurization of the tank. There can be accumulation of water on deck which in sub-zero temperature condition make the method impracticable and dangerous for the crew. In addition, pumps and the piping will experience an increased workload. And we can see the picture here. The manhole cover was opened and the by means of ballast pump, all the pumping in going out, and the water is coming out from the ballast tank by means of either the manual cover or the ship specific design. We can see here a special type of arrangement was there. All the water is going to the sea, and continuously the ballast pump is pumping in. Now is coming number 3 method, which is almost, I believe, impracticable. Like the dilution method. Dilution method is a process by which replacement ballast water is filled through the top of the ballast tank. It will be filling from the top of the ballast tank, intended for the carriage of ballast water with a simultaneous discharge from the bottom of the same flow rate, maintaining constant level in the tank throughout the ballast exchange operation in order to achieve at least 95% of the volumetric exchange of ballast water. And we know that precautionary advice to master when undertaking ballast water exchange operation. Master should take all necessary precautions when undertaking ballast water exchange sequence when the criteria are propeller immersion, minimum forward draft, and breeze visibility cannot be met. Because there is some situation will come, maybe that is the short time, but that time all these criteria cannot be met at the same time. That then what kind of precaution will be taken by the master? That has been described here. How much time and the duration of not complying with this all the criteria like the breeze visibility, minimum forward draft, propeller immersion, how much time? That should be clearly mentioned. And of course it should be in the open water, and also traffic density should be low, enhanced navigational watch for the lookout and other purpose. Now the safety consideration, that of ballast water exchange has a number of safety consideration. This include but not be limited to, like avoidance of over and under pressurization of the ballast tanks, sloshing load in tanks that may be slag at any time, maintain adequate intake stability at all times, permissible seagoing strength limit like the shearing force and the bending moments, torsional forces, forward and updraft and trim in relation with the breeze visibility, propeller immersion, minimum forward draft, wave-induced hull vibration, watertight closure like the manual covers which has been opened for during exchange time, crew safety of course, and weather routing in areas seasonably affected by cyclone, typhoon, hurricane. Ballast exchange at sea should not be carried out, or if under progress, under the following condition. For example, Beaufort wind force on more than 4 Beaufort number and sea state exceed moderate sea condition. Or when there is indication that the weather and sea condition will deteriorate prior to completing ballast exchange, or sailing in area which are known to be seasonally affected by the cyclone, typhoon, hurricane, and or heavy icing condition. In this scenario condition, ballast exchange should not be carried out. When any part of the power or ballast system is inoperative or giving sign of underperformance, when due to other important duties on board, not enough trained officer and crew are available for attending this operation, when abnormal vibration of the vessel, hull or equipment are experienced, please stop the operation at that moment. Now is coming for ballast water sampling points. This is ship to ship will vary, so ship specific basically. So this thing also need to be acquainted or be familiar with us, because sometimes the PSC or quarantine officer, they come for collecting the ballast water or the sediment. So we'll have to do all kind of cooperation with them. Now is coming the procedure for management and disposal of the sediment. Where practicable, routine cleaning of the ballast tank to remove sediments should be carried out in the mid-ocean or under control arrangement in port or in dry dock. Basically, this has been done in the dry dock. Basically, all tanks have been cleaned thoroughly to remove the sediments. And for any reason, if the sediment has to be thrown overboard at sea, then the distance should be outside 200 nautical miles from the land and in water of at least 200 meter depth must be maintained. And of course, sediment in the ballast tank should be removed in a timely basis. Basically, it has been done in the repair facility or the dry dock. And that's all about it. Same thing is being repeated. And you see the ship is having what is the procedure the ship is showing for removal of the sediment. We can see the demarking procedure here. Now the recording requirement. The ballast water management officer is to ensure that the ballast water record book and any other necessary documentation forms are completed and kept always up to date. Like the ballast water record book, it must be as per the convention requirement. And of course, ballast water record book is to be maintained on board for a minimum 2 years to provide PSC or other authorities as required, and in the company control for a minimum period of 3 years. Each operation concerning the ballast water shall be fully recorded without delay in the ballast water record book, and after completing the page, master will sign at the completed page only. And ballast water handling log is a sample basically, but please kindly follow your SNS procedure. And this is basically sediment record, sediment disposal or the removal record here. Now is coming ballast water reporting form. Actually, the IMO has given the standard reporting form we can see here, but many countries of the world, they are using their local forms. So whenever a vessel is calling that port, they will have to complete their local form and submit well before calling that port. And this is the sample of the IMO ballast water reporting form. All these sections are written clearly. And this is basically US NBIC reporting form. The sample. Now is coming very important point about the ballast water management plan. This plan should be kept available for inspection on request by Port State Control Officer or Quarantine Officer. It should be always available for their inspection. So one page, important page to show you I have added here. We can see the red marking maybe the sequential method they put here as contingency plan only. Because when the treatment system has been introduced in the shipping industry, so the previous exchange method like the flow through, like the empty refill or sequential method, now it became contingency plan only. So which has been revised in the ballast water management plan. Another page we can see, it has been taken from the ballast water management plan. We can see here sequential method was applicable for the ship, and it has been written in the red marking that contingency plan only, which means when the treatment system is not working, that time only we can use this sequential method for that particular ship. Another important point, all the ballast pump on board the ship must be tested its performance at every 12 months. Ballast pump number 1, ballast pump number 2, and fire GS pump, and also pump 1 and 2 together. Now before finishing the lecture, let's have the gentle reminder. Number 1 point, please comply SMS checklist for ballasting, deballasting in port. Please comply SMS checklist for ballast water mid-ocean exchange, and also crew training before conducting mid-ocean exchange with signature of the participants. Risk assessment and toolbox meeting must be completed before conducting the operation. Pre-calculate all the parameters. Sample is given below and must discuss with the master that what will be the critical parameters are showing at what sequence. Like we can see here, during ballast water exchange, we can make the form like this way, which will be very, very easy for ballast recording later on. So all the information we gather together, like the date, tank details means which tank, initial content, final content, operation means either pump in or pump out. Then is coming a starting time, latitude, longitude, depth, distance from the land, and same thing goes for the stoppage time also. And we can see the longitudinal stress, like the bending moment, shearing force or torsional force. Remaining part is coming here. The stability of the vessel at that moment, like GM, breeze visibility, propeller immersion, weather condition, like the wind force and direction, sea state, height of wave, pump. Which pump use? Number 1, number 2, or both is written here, and the method. In which method the ballasting, deballasting, or exchange is going on, like the flow through, empty refill, or ballast water treatment system, and so on. So if we complete these forms accurately, which will be all the information at a glance, so it will be very, very easy for us later on. And of course, before operation, please inform engine room well before to prepare generator for the ballast pump. And after completing, please all the events to be recorded, ballast handling log accurately. And of course, class approved ballast water management plan is under master custody. Ballast water management plan appendix must be updated and kept always available. For the reference, an international ballast water management certificate is kept with ballast water file. Sediment management records must be kept up to date. And complete ballast water reporting form well in advance and sent to appropriate authority of the port of call. Ballast pumps, including fire and GS pump, if used, must be tested in every 12 months and record maintained. Onboard ballast water file may be organized making separate section like ballast water reporting form section, ballast water handling log section, sediment management section, crew training section, ballast water pump test section, and so on. Now please be reminded that this video only for the information sharing. So whenever you are conducting ballasting, deballasting, or ballast water exchange, please comply with your onboard ballast water management plan and also SMS procedure, safety management system for that particular ship. And thank you so much for watching this onboard ballast water management video, and we are inviting to watch next video, which will be about ballast water treatment system. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.